Hi there and welcome back. You're watching On The Edge. I'm here with Lawrence Wright. We're talking about how to defend yourself against the onslaught of the corporate system, how to defend yourself, your own health, your own well-being and the health and well-being of your loved ones. It's not an easy task at the moment. We are being assaulted from every side. Some interesting texts have come through. According to Carl, who's on the Wirral, Mattel, the toy maker, are now making bald Barbie dolls. So that's Barbie dolls without any hair, and this is to encourage young girls to have chemo. Can you believe that? It's amazing, isn't it?
It's
amazing.
You couldn't
make it up. You couldn't make this sort of stuff up. They want to make chemo trendy. Thanks for that, Carl. So we've got some questions. Andy in Leicester has had a white amalgam filling. He's asking, is that okay?
If it's the white fillings are fine. They'll be silver in appearance or black. If you've got anything like that, the chances are it's mercury. But if you're not sure, ring up your dentist and ask them. Yeah. They'll tell you what they put in and ask them whether they're still doing it. Most of them still are. I checked. I got.
Yeah. I suppose white's better than. It's better than. I mean, amount is better than.
It looks better, and it's not going to leach, mercury into your body for the rest of your life.
Yeah. So it's important that they get rid of the mercury. That's the main thing, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's the main thing. Okay. Denise from Cambridgeshire. She says. Most doctors' surgeries have a pharmacy which pays the overheads, so it's a business basically. Yeah. They have a pharmacy in the doctor's surgery now. These big health centres.
They do, there's a pharmacy on the side normally,
Yeah. And also someone's asked, what rights do people have to diagnose themselves? If you're going to doctor's surgery and you said, look, this is wrong with me.
Well, if you had a serious chronic condition and you wanted some alternative treatment, you'd be refused. It's their treatment or nothing.
In terms of the diagnosis, have you got any right to diagnose it yourself at all? Diagnose yourself?
You can actually treat yourself if you want to, but you would bear the cost. So if it's going to cost you money, you need to travel somewhere to get this treatment.
So otherwise you have to just believe what they tell you and take their treatment, basically.
That's right. I mean, if the NHS treatment costs £10,000 and you could treat yourself for £500, they'd rather pay the £10,000 than give you 500 quid for you to go out and do it yourself. That's how sad it is.
Well, they're in the main chance, aren't they? I mean, you could argue, it could be argued. They're in they want to make money out of it, maybe.
They do. The drugs companies make, it's what is it? The second biggest industry on the planet is illness.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, someone in terms of water, we've got the water equipment here. We're going to test this now. Someone has just texted in saying they're considering having a borehole drilled, so they're going to make a well on their own property to try and get some clean water. I mean, what's it getting to if you can't get clean water,
Yeah, even if you do that, the water's still got to get from the clouds down to the ground, and if they've been spraying, you're going to get the residue from the aluminium and the barium in your water.
Also, all the crops and everything, all the the runoff off the crops is full of pesticides and everything, isn't it?
It is, but you can't see it because the water there looks...
We're going to see it. We're going to see it now in front of our very eyes. Let's have a look at this. You're going to have to explain how all this works.
Okay, James. Grayling, this water here is from Wales.
Right, okay.
Does that look okay to you?
That looks fine to me.
Nice and clean?
Nice and clean.
Okay, well, before the water companies send the water out, they treat it with aluminium sulphate, which makes it look clean. And then they try and get the...
aluminium again?
Aluminium sulphate, that's what they use. It's to make the water look clean. So
can we see that? That looks pretty clean to me.
Looks clean coming through your tap.
That looks pretty clean to me.
Okay, and this water here...
Get a close-up of that. That looks pretty clean to me. That's nice water, that.
This water here is
from Wales as well. That sounds good, doesn't it?
This is fluoridated water. Yeah. From Wolverhampton.
From Wolverhampton. That doesn't sound as good, but anyway.
This is fluoridated water.
Yeah.
So that's got an additional additive in it against people's wishes, but you haven't got any choice on that. So would you like to just take a swig of that, James?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. That tastes okay to you?
That tastes all right, actually.
All right. So with all water, can I just go and get my monitor out of the briefcase? Won't be sound.
So what are you getting out of the suitcase then?
It's a monitor which tells you dissolved solids in the water.
Yeah.
It's a TDS meter. You can buy these on the internet. You can get them from as little as £20, and it'll tell you how many parts per million of dissolved solids there are in. So we just press this button, pop it in there.
Right, okay. Can we see that on the screen? There's like a figure there saying...
is that picking that up?
No, we can't really see that, can we?
It's 266 parts per million.
266 parts per million. So that's what the number of...
It's dissolved solids.
Dissolved solids. Yeah. Dissolved solids in the water, okay.
That's right.
Yeah,
and then if you look at the other water, we stick that in there.
That's got less in then.
That one's got 168 parts per million, yeah.
That's quite a big difference then.
But some of the water I've tested has, over 500 parts per million.
Right, okay.
Well, let's just see that, that might sound not very much. Let's see what happens if we expose the impurities in the water.
So all this gizmo's doing then, it's just separating...
It's bringing it out of suspension. The stuff that's dissolved, it's going to be exposed for what it is.
Yeah.
So you'll see it, and the more metal there is in the water, the quicker it's going to come out, because water in itself is not it's not a very good conductor of electricity. But if there's a lot of metal in your water, it'll heat up very quickly, and all these impurities will be exposed. So we're just going to put this...
Yeah. Okay.
This is a dual precipitator. Okay, you can buy one of these on the internet if you want one. They cost about 25 quid. So we're just going to pop this in here and pass an electric current through and expose what's actually in the water. So we're just going to run that for about 3 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, it's on a timer. I don't know whether the camera can pick that up.
I don't know if we can see it.
Shall I turn that round? Is the camera picking that one up?
Yeah.
Okay, the water will start to discolour.
I can see it discolouring already.
As the impurities come out.
I mean, the one on the left is the Welsh one, isn't it? And the one on the right is the Wolverhampton water.
That's right, yeah.
I mean, that, to me, that's discolouring already. I'm regretting drinking it.
It's going to get considerably worse.
So this is the water that people are using every day in their homes.
You're washing in it, bathing in it, cooking in it, adding it to your tea, coffee, your squashes, anything that anything that you use water for in the house. You are drinking this. Now, if you can imagine, you're drinking that for the rest of your life. You might ask yourself, why is there so many people having health problems? Because in the past, people didn't have water like this. They took it from the well. It was pure water. Now you're getting the water that the water companies make you have. And I would never ever drink water from a tap again once I realised how toxic it was. I've got a reverse osmosis filter. Yeah. It fits under the sink and it takes all the rubbish out. So if we reapplied the test on some water I've brought with me later, well, I can do it in a minute if you like, you're not going to get this reaction. You're not going to get this filthy mess coming out of the water.
Someone's just texted in, how do you clean the water? Well, we're going to be getting onto that pretty soon. Someone's also texted in, how do you protect against chemtrails? Well, you know what I mean?
You can get a chem buster. Apparently this is a mixture of resin and metal filings with some crystals and some copper pipes.
Oh, I don't know if I believe in those, to be honest. But I mean, you can't really protect against the air you breathe, can you?
There's a lot of anecdotal evidence that say that they work. It's in the mystical realm, you know.
Well, we don't want to get into that tonight, but I mean, I mean, I would say that you can't protect against the air, can you? To a large extent, but at least we can do something about the water. We're going to be focusing on the water.
I'll turn this off now because it might get overheated. But that's only been running.
That's just a few minutes. That's just a couple of minutes. I don't know whether you can actually see this on the camera, just how bad it is.
If you can pick up, if the camera can pick up.
Absolutely unbelievable, the filth. I mean, there's no way. I've just drunk this a minute ago. Oh, it's hot, isn't it?
Can the camera pick up that?
It's hot.
Well, maybe I should stir it, Grayling.
But if the camera can see that, is there any way you can see that? I don't know, but it's honestly, there's just absolute gunk.
I'll give you a bit of a shake.
On the top of that. Absolute gunk.
And you can see what's in the water.
I can use my pen to shake it.
Can you see that?
It's like green.
It's
green. Let me stir it with the pen.
Of course, it's very serious when...
If you asked someone to drink that, they wouldn't drink it, but just a few minutes ago, that was ordinary tap water.
Yeah. People wouldn't drink it now.
Black.
That water, the chemical composition of that is exactly the same. It's just been exposed for what it is. And of course, there's a serious problem in the Midlands where the water's fluoridated because mothers are bottle feeding their children with the milk. This stuff's going in the milk, and in Sheffield they're actually adding fluoride to children's milk. Believe it or not, it beggars belief.
Yeah, well, like you say, maybe there is an alternative agenda of, as a few people have said, there's a wider rat control programme going on.
Well, down in Southampton, the local health authority had a consultation exercise about introducing fluoride to the water, and they did consult public opinion, and 80% of the population said, no thanks, we don't want it. All the council said, no thanks, we don't want it. All the MPs said, no thanks, we don't want it. They said, you're having it. So they appealed to a judge. What did the judge say? You're having it. So what can people do? It's not democracy when the people's voice isn't heard.
No.
People are being forced to have fluoride, and it's Southampton now, and it's going to be you next. So the only thing you can do about it, if you can't persuade them not to do it, is to filter the crap out of your water.
Well, let's look at that now then. Let's look at how we can protect ourselves from this kind of
okay,
lunacy.
Well, I've got over here, I've got a portable reverse osmosis filter.
Someone's asking, please, can you explain what you did to the water to expose the dirt? All we did, well, go on.
We passed an electric current through it, that's all.
Yeah. You plus an electric and it exposes the...
It brings the stuff that's dissolved out of suspension so you can see what's actually in the water.
So you can see what's actually in the water, okay. Hopefully we can get some close-ups of this, this water. It is literally unbelievable. You've got to see it in front of your eyes just to believe it. So the thing you've got now, Denise in Cambridge asked, does an ordinary Brita filter help clean the water at all?
All the Brita filter will do will take the the chlorine out.
Yeah.
It won't take anything else out. So we could run a test on Brita filtered water, and it would be just as filthy as that.
But wouldn't have the chlorine in though, would it?
It'll take the chlorine out, but that's all.
But that's it though. So it's just the taste. It just removes the taste of the chlorine.
Yeah, it's better than nothing. Yeah. But
well, what about boiling the water?
No, boiling the water causes more problems because what you're doing, you're concentrating. You know, when you boil water, pure steam comes off.
Yeah.
And you end up concentrating the impurities in the water that's left, so you're making the situation worse.
So boiling the water makes it worse?
Yeah.
I thought boiling the water made it better because you got rid of the chlorine or something.
It might kill off some of the bacteria in the water, but you know, if you're boiling some syrup on the stove, yeah, when you boil it, it gets thicker and thicker, so you're concentrating the poisons in the water.
So actually boiling it makes it worse then? Okay, someone's texted in saying fracking is about destroying the water table. This is this thing that's going on in the northwest of England and other places, other locations. What do you think about fracking? Destroying the water table? I mean, the water table's already pretty bad as it is, judging by that.
Yeah, well, you know, it's all about money, isn't it? So they don't care. You know, it's like these wind farms they're having.
Yeah, if you can maybe sit down, Lawrence, because
I just need to put this stuff up, so you can just bear with me a tick.
Right, you just have to bear with us a while while we get this experiment set up. What we're basically going to be showing you is that you can use reverse osmosis, or you can use various filters to filter the water, to get rid of all these toxins which we've seen. So the last test, all it did really was to take the particles out of suspension and reveal them. They were diluted or they were hidden in suspension in the water, and all we did was pass an electric current through them. It revealed them basically for what they were, and that's the water that you're drinking every day. Well, certainly if you live in Wales or North Wales or Wolverhampton, I'm sure it's pretty much similar at other locations throughout the UK. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take some of that same water, we're going to pass it through a filter, and we're going to see what kind of quality it comes out as. I mean, I'm assuming, hopefully, it'll be significantly better than that. It couldn't be much worse, could it really?
You should notice a big difference. Very little should happen to it. And we can also put the TDS, the total dissolved solids meter, into the water that comes out, and you'll see what's left out of the
Right, so we had 260 and 160, did we, before?
Something of that region, yeah.
So one was 260, one was 160, I think, around that area. Oops. So we're going to have a look at that.
Yeah.
It's been a slight spillage there.
Never mind. I'm sure it'll wipe up.
Right, Lawrence has got water all over himself now, but never mind.
Okay, so I'm just going to put these two pipes in here.
Someone's saying, what about, what's your opinion on bottled water, someone's saying?
Well, the problem with bottled water is that it may have been lying around the warehouse for 6 months, and it's in plastic, and if the temperature rises, the chemicals in the plastic are going to leak into the water.
There's a big problem with that, like xenoestrogens, you know, men turning into women and all this kind of thing, you know, or men becoming very feminine because of the plastic and all this kind of stuff. Is that right?
There's a possibility that could happen, yeah. If you leave a bottle of water on the front seat of your car on a sunny day and try tasting it, then you can really taste the plastic.
Yeah, so plastic leaches, so plastic bottled water is no good then, basically, even though you pay a fortune for it half the time.
Some of the bottled water comes from the tap, you know, and if it's coming from one of the big corporations, I wouldn't trust it as far as I could spare it.
Right, okay.
So I'm going to turn this on now.
Right, we're turning it on now.
Okay, and we should start to get some clean water coming out.
Can you come around this side so we can see it, maybe? Can we see that? If you come around here. All right, we can see it coming out now. It's a quick one there. Did it go through that quickly then?
Yeah, it's coming out slow. Obviously, if it was...
So someone's saying the water companies are scared of litigation. Nikki, hasn't there been success when the water companies have been advised on their exposure to litigation? What do you think about that? Is anyone threatening the water companies? After seeing that, someone should be.
Well, the water companies have indemnified themselves against litigation from customers. So if there's a lawsuit that somebody sues them for putting the fluoride in, the government have indemnified them against any lawsuits. So the water companies know they're poisoning you, but there's not much they can do about it because they've been ordered to do it.
Right, okay, someone's saying, Paul in Berkshire saying, is my high-spec water filter, VOC, TOC, S, fluoride worth having? Do they work?
If it's reverse osmosis, it will take all the impurities out. You know,
Right,
if it's anything else, it might not.
Well, this is just your opinion, remember. Other people might recommend different filters. Someone's saying, Gary from Liverpool, saying, I thought we didn't have fluoridated water in the UK.
Yeah, it's throughout the West Midlands, there's fluoride in the water, also up in the northeast of England and some parts of the east. If people smile at you in the West Midlands, you may notice they've got white flecks on their teeth. And what that means is that their body is totally overloaded with fluoride. It's accumulated in their bones and it's got nowhere else to go but in their teeth, because your teeth, you know, are the windows to your bones.
Yeah.
So it does the exact reverse of what it's marketed to do. You know, it destroys your teeth. You know, people are spending fortunes.
These are not the claims from Edge Media. This is Lawrence's own opinion. You've got to take, you know, you've got to do your own research and think about it. It's just his opinion. It's nothing to do with Edge Media. Okay, so we've got to go for a break now. We're going to see this water after this break.